Hey y'all, I'm back with part 3 of how I got diagnosed with Graves' disease. So previously in part 2, we were talking about at the end about how my drastic weight loss, and I finally got an appointment with my primary. And excuse me, y'all, I got my Noble frames on because my eyes are so sensitive to light right now. So got an appointment, met her, sweet lady, and I was explaining all the symptoms I was having between the night sweats. There was really day sweats, insomnia, the weight loss, the tremors, the heart palpitations. I was having so much going on. Like, she was getting overwhelmed with just everything I was saying. But yeah, so she was like, oh yes, ASAP, we got to get this blood work done and test me for hyper, because she said the symptoms I was having was hyper. So that's when I initially got my blood work done. And then when it came back, y'all, to this day I'm still trying to learn everything, like your TSH and all that type of stuff, but all my levels were out of whack. And I'm gonna try to insert like pictures of what the levels was looking like, but some of them was extremely to the end of the chart, and someone was completely below. And she said those levels were just outrageous. So she wanted to start me on a beta blocker because to try to help with some of those symptoms, because my blood pressure was high. I think it was like 150 over 100 and something. I can't even remember, but it was high. And she was just concerned of how he elevated everything. So she wanted to put me on a beta blocker. Oh, and the headaches. Y'all, the headaches, I mean, I would pop like 1,200 milligrams of Tylenol, Advil. I didn't care what it was, because I had really bad migraines. And it just seemed like the medicine was not working. So I possibly was probably overdosing myself. Who knows? But, yeah, so she was like, she wanted to start me on beta blockers. And then I had to make an appointment with an endo ASAP. But I couldn't get an appointment with an endo until, what was it, March 18th? So that was literally a whole month and some change away. So she wanted to start me on beta blockers. Y'all, I'm not the best when it comes to taking medicine. Like, I'm not the best at all. So that was already going to be something for me, dealing with that. But I mean, I literally couldn't even walk from point A to point B, and point A to point B could be a yardstick, and be tired. I was always tired, I would fall asleep anywhere. It was just crazy. So she started me on the beta blockers. I'm not gonna say it initially like stopped it completely. I was still having the headaches and stuff like that, but I mean, it did what it could do. I'm not gonna say it was the best, but it eased some of the symptoms. But the insomnia, I was still having headaches. I was still hot. I mean, I would literally walk around with a cami on every day, all day. Like, every day, all day. Because I'd be sweating. Like, it was crazy how much I was sweating. And, yeah, so I was taking the beta blockers. I think it was propranolol. I think that was the name of it, that she had me on. And I had to stay on that until she could find, the endo, the base, not she could find, till the endo could get me in there, which was March, like I said, 18th. Yeah, I think it was March 18th. And during that whole process, y'all, I was so nervous, because I was like, now what am I gonna have to do when I go see her? People was like, the endo, they're the ones that check for everything. And I was like, everything? It was like, yeah, your diabetes and all this type of stuff. So I'm like, Lord, what if they find something else, this and that? So in my head, I wasn't even thinking about Graves. I was just, you said hyperthyroidism. I was just like, I was still, I think I'm the type of person that, like, how can I say it? Self-diagnosis herself. Like, especially with Google out here, I read a lot. So you type in that one thing, you're going to constantly be reading constantly. So you're almost self-diagnosing yourself with things. But, because, I mean, I had a whole month and I didn't know what was going to happen. So, yeah, it was a lot waiting. Put it that way. But, fast forward, March 19th. 18th, I lied. Went and seen the endo. Met her, and she was like, my primary didn't do enough testing when it came to the thyroid. So she said, I need to test you for Graves. And she did a lot more in-depth checking for the hyperthyroidism, because she was like, maybe you know, being that how I just got it and I had the flu and stuff like that, she was hoping that it was just an offset that happened with my body, and it'll probably start back regulating. Because she said, this is March and you're still having symptoms and stuff. She was like, this might not be an offset thing, but she was just like, you know, hopefully that's what it is. So we're just going to do the blood work and stuff just to be on the safe side. And I was like, okay. So she tested me for my A1C. She tested me for don't quote me on some of these, but they were very in-depth. And like I said, she tested me for Graves. So everything pretty much came back the same. My A1C was like a 5.9, which is of course pre-diabetic. And what else did she do? The Graves, it definitely came back saying that it was Graves. She said my levels came back, and I think at that moment, so I did the blood work and stuff the 18th. Everything was coming back the 18th, but the Graves didn't come back until the 19th. And when I checked my chart, I was just like, and she had in the notes, and she was like, your levels are showing, you know, that you for surely have Graves disease. And I was just like, I had to like back out of it, go back in it again. And I was just like, Graves. I was like, wait, hold on now. So like, I just thought this was just like a, you know, a little thyroid thing, and it was gonna come back to normal, because I'm so used to being a healthy person. I mean, I've been to the doctor this year more than I've been in my life. I have never been to so many different doctors so many times, and so many times during the month. I've never done that this many times. Like, and it's crazy, it's overwhelming. And so when I got the Graves disease, like, and I seen her in writing, I was just like, what the word? And then I sent it to my husband, and it just felt unreal too when I sent it to him, and he was like, what? No, what is that? Like, what you mean you got great? What is that? You know, so it was a lot. To this day, this is what, June 13th, and he tells me I still probably have not processed it, which I probably have not yet. You know, it's probably gonna take me some time to actually sit by myself and actually like really think about this type of stuff, like really process what's going on. I don't know. It was a lot. And like I said, I'm still going through it, like emotionally up and down, just because of the things I'm still currently going through, and still having to carry on with my regular life, you know, because life don't stop. But yeah, and I think, and then just like, you know, I don't know. And then it's autoimmune, so it's like you can't even really stress or overthink things because of how it will elevate things, you know. So at that moment, it definitely was like, I think at that time I was just like, oh, I got Graves, you know, let me do some research, see how people get through it. And I'm like, I'm about to be on medication for the rest of my life. I'm seeing only the 3 options that is possible with this is the medication, the radiation, or the surgery. Like, all that stuff was like, I really only have limitations for this certain thing. I'm 33 years old, and I only have a limited decision of what I want to do with something that I can't control, that I didn't even ask for, you know. And it was just like, wow, your life changed in 3 months when you were perfectly healthy, could move around with your kids, and now you I barely can go from the car to going to go sit on the bench to watch my daughter play soccer. Like, it's crazy. It's you know, it's a lot. But I'm going to pause it here, and we're going to talk with the next one. Thank you for watching part 3 of how I got diagnosed with Graves' disease.